Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Kinahan, chief market strategist over at TD Ameritrade, with the September Investor Movement Index, or what we call IMX reading, which aggregates TD Ameritrade client accounts to see trends with what they're buying and selling and thinking about the market. it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Jill, I always appreciate you having me on.
All right, you got it. September proved to be a volatile month, as it historically can be. We're going into Q4 now, and October sort of carrying along that theme here. But it's interesting to see TD Ameritrade clients remained invested. In fact, the IMX score ticked up a few numbers here.
Yeah, it was a little surprising to me, Jill, too, because as I looked at how it went, it was more toward the end of the month where we saw our clients being buyers. I would have expected the opposite, to be honest with you, given how October has historically been a very difficult month for many stocks. So kind of worked a little bit against what I had thought. Some of the names they purchased have been sort of stalwarts of the report, if you will, over the last few months. Of course, starting with Apple and Ford, two stocks that for the last few months our clients have been buying. Then a few surprises maybe in there. Alibaba, which was a surprise to me after we had some of that bad news from, perhaps some regulations, et cetera. The stock sold off a bit. Our clients came in to buy that. And then NVIDIA, which has been a favorite, although that was a stock that had a little bit of a rougher month. And then the one that, SoFi, which is sort of newer to the report for us in terms of what our clients are buying.
Yeah, that definitely was the first time I've seen the name on the buy list. And the sell list as well really was a mixed bag of different industries. It wasn't specific to one sector or the other.
It wasn't, Jill, but they, when I look at the top sell stocks, they did share one common trait. They were all rallying in the month, some of them getting their 52-week highs. So that, I think, was the one common theme I saw. You had stocks like Netflix, which has done very, very well over the last couple of months. Tesla, another one that's done very well. Bank America, last couple of months, big rally out of that. And then you had a couple of the airlines, which very interesting also. American and Delta were two of the airlines that were also sold. So that's one that I really want to pay attention to going forward, is some of the, faith in the everything getting back to normal starting to wane a little bit when you're seeing the clients start to sell airlines.
Yeah, and what's really interesting too, this really has been the pattern of TD Ameritrade clients since I've been covering it almost a decade now, where they really leverage volatility to either buy their favorite names or they're strategic and they're selling them at 52-week highs, which has been a great strategy over the past 10 years. But I think as we look towards October, we have a number of geopolitics that we need to focus on. We have the debt ceiling, of course, and then, the supply chain really is an issue. And I wonder how that's going to impact earnings, because we were quite good for the last quarter, but these supply chain issues are going to start to have an impact at some point.
There's no question about that, Jill, that the supply chain problem is becoming across every single industry. It's just a matter of how badly your industry is being affected overall. And so I think what's really concerning maybe about that is for the retailers overall. This is the time of year where they start really thinking about, okay, things starting to heat up, people coming back to stores, people shopping online. Well, people start getting the message online, hey, we can't have this for you for another 2 months, or they go into stores and they simply don't have the inventory. This is going to be a real problem for the holiday season. It could set a lot of the retailers back quite a bit. I think you're starting to see some of the analysts already lower a little bit of the expectations as we start to see some of those problems. And you and I have talked in the past few months about what it's meant for lumber, what it's meant for car dealers in terms of chip shortages, et cetera. So this is a very large problem, and we may start to see it explode in a more real method, if you will, affecting everyone as we head into the holidays.
Right. And anecdotally, I can tell you something that I ordered from Williams Sonoma was supposed to be here August 26th. It's supposed to arrive today, October 4th, but it keeps getting pushed back. And this is something that we weren't even talking about the supply chain as much as we are right now when it comes to retailers. Of course, we're in that key holidays or heading into that key holiday season. But to your point, it's across every industry. And you wonder at what point will, between supply and demand, will consumers either just start to go to off-brand or unbranded labels and figure out other ways to, attain goods? And then after that, once we get back online, people are saying 2022, 2023, who will be the winners and losers there as well? So I think it's a little bit longer term than just the holiday season.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly, Jill, but I think that that's where it'll slap people in the face maybe a little bit more who haven't really noticed the problem before. And I think the other thing is for the economy, why it's so concerning is it has the ability to take away momentum and spending really, really quickly. And I think that's why we have to be a little bit more concerned about its effect on the market as we head into the last quarter. And exactly what you're saying, you've started to see the earnings that are sort of late in the period, if you will, where the companies have addressed it. I think it's going to be table stakes now for the earnings calls as we head into Q3, that the CEOs and CFOs are going to have to address how the supply chains are going to affect them going forward.
All right, JJ, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.